Israelis, for three reasons, decided that now was the time to strike. Number one, I think they argued that Iran had entered a zone of immunity with respect to the development of its nuclear program. It had just opened up a new enrichment center in either Natanz and Fordo. Number two, you have a very risk-ready Israeli prime minister who, over the course of the last 18 months, has led an Israeli military that has demonstrated incredible escalation dominance over all of its adversaries, including Iran. And finally, you had an American president who, if he didn't greenlight what the Israelis did, simply wouldn't or couldn't mount a serious effort to dissuade the prime minister. Had the American president, and he was briefed well before these strikes took place, had he not wanted these strikes to take place, I think he could have made it unmistakably clear to the Israeli prime minister that it would damage fundamentally the U.S.-Israeli relationship. He didn't do that. So we now have what we have, a comprehensive and precise Israeli strike in 5 ways. First, decapitation of Iranian scientists, engineers, much of the Iranian general staff, the chief of staff, who I think the Iranians announced had been killed, and then attacks all over Iran, Kermanshah, Isfahan, Arak, and on Natanz, one of the key enrichment facilities, and against their ballistic missile capacity. Look, what you saw tonight, Thursday, Friday, is the beginning of what I would call a forever war between this Israeli government and the state of Israel. It won't matter which Israeli government, and this Iranian regime, because of the degree of humiliation and the lack of operational security, the penetration that the Israelis were able to achieve in these strikes was an embarrassment and a humiliation to a regime that had invested trillions of dollars in the nuclear project as a sign of national prestige and national security. And I suspect over time, the Iranians will play the long game. They will make a decision to weaponize.
Aaron, where do you believe this leaves the negotiations over the future of the potential U.S.-Iran nuclear deal?
Look, if the Iranians show up, it's not going to be an effort to make concessions or portray weakness or to basically, they'll complain about what the Israelis have done. And when you look at what the Israelis have done, the reality is exactly what sort of negotiation would the U.S. and Iran now arrive at in terms of controlling Iran's enrichment. The Iranians are going to insist even more willfully now than ever before. You see, we need a nuclear weapon. They may not admit it. We need the enrichment capacity to produce fissile material. They may not say it directly. The supreme leader has said repeatedly that Iran isn't interested in producing a nuclear weapon, but the reality is, I think, if anything would have energized the Iranians to weaponize in good time, it would be this. I don't know what there is to negotiate. The Israelis clearly are not done yet, and you see no Iranian retaliation yet. So how could you have a serious negotiation about the future when you're literally trapped and in the middle of the present?